Well, hello. This is my 2013 Ford Edge. I'm currently having issues where my window switch will not operate any of the windows. As you see. What's weird about it is that it's on the same fuse as this window switch. Works just fine. So, doing some searching doesn't seem to be a very common problem, but I did find a video where there's a solution to it. Issue with that video and a couple other videos that I've seen on the Ford Edge and the door panel specifically is they skip a lot of steps showing the disassembly of the door panel. So I figured I'd since I'm doing the work anyways, may as well make a video and post it up, and maybe this will be some help to some people. So there'll be obviously some cutting in between, because this will be a really long video if I just let it roll. But I'll try not to skip any steps, and hopefully this can help some people. So I should say that I have not disassembled this door before. I've taken out the switch because I've replaced the switch. That was my first step in trying to troubleshoot my issue. But put a new switch in, and still the same problems. So I'm taking the switch out before. Everything else I'm doing for the first time. And so I guess watch this video all the way through before doing any of these steps, because I might backtrack on something I say, because I could just have it wrong. Now, my understanding, this piece here and then this chrome-like plate piece here, silver, needs to be popped out. Now, you can use a flathead screwdriver to do it, but you're more likely to cause a little nick in it and just damage it. So I spent all of, I believe, $10 on Amazon for this 4-piece tool set. That's it's made for removing panels. So I'm sure I will get some commenters saying how I'm using the wrong tool for the wrong piece, but I'm going to try to show you how you disassemble this. So this piece here, you have to wedge it in on this side. So it's important to go from this side of the switch, because as you'll see, it's this side that has a metal clip. This side here, that's a hard plastic clip. So if you start prying it from the front, you're going to break that clip. So with that switch pulled out, you've got those 2 wire harnesses. There's a clip on this side and a clip on this side. Those will pull straight out. That's going to be hard to do one-handed, so I guess I'm not going to show that exact part, but again, you just push it and pull. I'm not going to get it one-handed, so that's what I'm going to do next. All right, switch is disconnected. Now the next steps that I've seen in other videos is to remove this piece. Now you have to remove it from the top, because again, this is where the metal clip is about the middle right here. There's a hard clip here, so you don't want to pry from the bottom end, because you'll snap that plastic piece right off. I've never taken this piece off before, so see how easy or hard it is. Again, I may not be able to do it one-handed, so I might have to somewhat skip the step. Yep, I'm gonna turn this off and try to do it with both hands and maybe a second tool, and I will come right back. I've not gotten it off yet, but I seem to find a little bit of success using this crowbar-like tool, pushing it on this side. I got it in pretty easily the first time, and now that I'm trying to do it with the camera, it's not working. So I'll be right back again. All right, there's the piece coming off. Like I said, you got the metal clip up top, hard plastic clip down bottom, goes in right there. It took me a little time to get that in there. End up wedging something in on this side, pulled it out a little, stuck another tool in, and was able to pop it off from there. So the next steps from what I've seen, there is it's hard to see, get light down in there, a screw down this hole, the one right here, 2 down below, see here and here, and then one on the side, which I don't think I actually captured, right there. So I'm going to take the 3 on the perimeter off first, and then get the 2 larger bolts on the inside, and see where we go from there. All right, got those 3 screws out. They are just Phillips head screws. I was thinking, I saw a video where they were saying it was Torx, and maybe I just got confused with another screw along the way. So last, it appears to be these 2 bolts, the bolt in here, and the bolt inside that hole. It's a 10mm socket to take that off. Obviously this one you're going to need a little deeper socket to get down in this hole. Probably need a deep one for this as well, I guess, just because the placement of it. So that's what I'm going to take off next. All right, got those two bolts out. This one's still sitting in the hole, but it's as unscrewed as it's going to get. I meant to mention earlier, and that a lot of information that I've gotten help out working on the Ford Edge is through the Mac T Ford Edge Facebook page and YouTube page. I am not associated with them, but I'll tell you that they are just, the guys in there are tremendous. You have any sort of random little problem, and within a few minutes, if not at the very least within an hour, you'll have wiring diagrams and all sorts of pictures and videos perhaps to help you out with any issues you could possibly have, it seems. I will say that the wiring issue that I have with my lights, or I'm sorry, with my windows, doesn't seem to be a very common problem. With an internet search, I found a couple people where they've had it. Now, since I'm down in this area, so the wire issue seems to be at this location here. This is gonna pop off. I believe, again, the video that I saw, it was already popped off and disassembled, so that's why I'm recording this, to maybe help someone else that has the issue, since the video I saw doesn't walk through it. Actually, maybe it's in here, or maybe it's in here. But anyways, but the blue wire, the power for the windows, it's on the very end of that wiring harness, and because of the angle, it tends to, apparently it gets crimped occasionally, and just over time breaks off. So that's why I'm focused in this area. Got a little sidetracked, but the Mac T, which is all one word, MACT Ford Edge Facebook page, it's a group you can join, and YouTube, of course, you can subscribe to. Any Ford Edge owner really should be, that's going to do work on their own, needs to be on that page, because they are just tremendous. So got those screws out and those 2 bolts out, and the door is definitely loose. From what I understand, it's probably just going to pop right off, but that's something that's it's going to take 2 hands. So I'm going to start to get it popped off, and then I'll come right back. All right, that took a few minutes. Got my tool down through here and was trying to feel for different places where the clips were, and wasn't all that successful. So I'm going to take this panel off, turn it around, and so you can see now at least where those clips are. I think that's one thing that I was missing in videos I was watching. They say, yeah, you pull it off and it's no problem, but excuse me. I think it's a lot easier if you know the exact placement of those clips, so you know where to focus where you pull. So one thing I missed, and I vaguely recall one of the videos I watched showed this. You've got the wires that go to your, let's say, I guess that would be your side mirror controls, and for your door lock that you have to disconnect. So sorry, I did not grab the camera just because my hands were full, but the one for your side mirrors was oriented like this, and there's just a clip of, sorry, it's oriented like this. There's a clip at the bottom, so pushing the clip pulls out easily. This one, I suspect I probably took it out the harder way, because I think this might clip in, but I end up shoving one of those prying tools down on the sides here. You see it's holding by those 2 wedges and 2 right here. So just shove the pry tool down there and broke that free. So turn this around. And let's look at where the clip locations are. So there are 2 down front. I'm trying to get in the shade so you can see that better. Those plastic clips, 1 up top. Nothing along the top because of the top edge, because that just sits in the crease. And as you go down the back side, 1 here, and just 1 in the corner. So really 4 points to 4 corners. Just that front corner has 2. So once you pull that out enough, and once you get 1, they all seem to go at once. Then you just lift the panel up out of that window crease, window seal. It was easy enough. So if you're just here to look at how to disassemble the door, that's pretty much the end of it. I know there's some videos on how to get to this door latch, so replace it, because just like everyone else, I've got the door ajar alarm that comes on all the time. I've sprayed the heck out of that, and occasionally it goes away for a little while, but still have issues. So at this point, I'm going to continue to so all these wires combine into this huge harness, and it's I believe it's that pesky blue wire right there that I have to track down to where it's broken at. So I'm going to do a little bit more work, take this off, and I will be back once I get a little bit more of an idea of what's the next steps. Well, as I was trying not to do, I did a little bit of work while not on video. So this piece just seems to be snapped in with clips. I'm not 100% sure that I didn't break that. I don't see any broken plastic pieces, so I think I might be all right. Issue is the weather stripping's holding this piece in. So, you know, when it was assembled, it appears that this piece was put on, weather stripping was put on over top of it. I don't really want to take off the weather stripping if I don't need to, because I imagine that's just going to be issues that I'm going to create. One suggestion I saw from a video on the window issue was taking this bolt off, because it gives you just a little bit extra room to open the door up. Not a whole lot. It's going to be tight either way, but every little bit's going to help. So again, this is a 10mm bolt. It's on pretty tight. I couldn't do it with just the screwdriver handle that I was using before. I'm barely able to do it now, so looks like I'm gonna have to use 2 hands. So I will be back after I take that off. All right, I got that bolt off, and this is about where the door is when the bolt's there. You can see it's sitting in place there. And I got that much extra room, which is not a lot of extra room. I think I'm about to enter a world of frustration. So best be done without the camera on, I guess. So I'm probably gonna work on this for a bit and come back once I make a little bit of progress. So I've been working on this for a little bit. I did loosen up the weather stripping. Just kind of forced into it. Have these pink clips, 2 up here and 2 down below. I should be able to get those back in the holes just fine, so not too concerned. But I definitely did break this bracket. Hopefully still get a good watertight seal so nothing gets in there. We'll see what happens. So I think next steps is we got 2 bolts that I really can't get the camera to see. Okay, right here. So one right here, and one right there. I'm going to take off, which looks like it's holding in this rubber piece, which is going to help me access the wire. So I'm going to try that next. This appears to be an 8mm socket, and we'll go from there. All right, so definitely a lesson learned. So hopefully, if you're doing this, learn from my mistakes. Those 2 screws I was going to take out were actually important, because that's why I broke the bracket, because they were being held on. You can see that that's the top bolt hole. So if I would have done that, this probably would have come off much easier. Well, would have come off much easier, and wouldn't have snapped this right here. So again, it's covered up with plastic, so as long as I can clip it back in, or I'm sorry, it's covered with rubber. As long as I can get that clip back in, I should be okay. Hopefully get a good seal still when it's all said and done. But learn from me, take those 2 bolts out, and you won't have the issue that I had. Alright, so we've gotten to the point where this is the real reason why I'm making this video, because what I saw before, the person already had this pulled out. Apparently there's a piece that's also in here that he was able to pull it all out. Now I'm hoping I don't have to go back in behind the fuse box. You know, the person who uploaded the video said, hey, it's frustrating, it's difficult, and if you get too frustrated, walk away and come back, because you don't want to pull too hard and you don't want to break it. But it doesn't show how he did it. So that is where I'm at right now. Right here it says push. You can barely see that. I mean, I can barely see it. I'm sure you can see it on. Oh, there you go. There doesn't seem to be anything behind that, and I'm hoping that it doesn't say push on the other side also, because I can't get back there. Yeah, I pushed there, and I don't know, there's not a whole lot there, it didn't seem like. Also, this rubber, yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that's 2 pieces that are coming together, or if that's just a folded piece of rubber. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. So unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to record me actually doing it. It's just going to be a lot of trial and error over the next hour, and I'll come back once I have it opened up and try to explain best I can how you should go about doing it. All right. Okay. I think I'm about to make a terrible move, but all right. So I was able to get some of that rubber off, but still, just to get to take that thing, it just seems like a headache. So I thought, how am I gonna get better access there? Well, there are 4 bolts holding on the hinges. One's already gone because I've taken it off. So it seems like that's the only thing holding the door on. So I'm going to take the door off. Now, from my experience working on interior doors never go back on exactly how they're supposed to once you take them off the hinges and put them back on. So probably making a huge mistake, but at least I'm going to document it in video, and everyone can laugh at me afterwards. So I'll come back once I got the door off. Alright, well, I have not screwed it up too bad yet. Got a jack out to help support the weight. Got those 4 bolts off, and definitely have a lot easier access to that. So I just need to get that disconnected, and I can actually set the door down. So that's where I'm at. Alright, so 2 things. I'm still holding the door up with one hand, so it's going to be hard for me to point. But there's a tab right there, which is right behind the area which where it said to push. I'm pushing on it and on the other side, and it doesn't seem to be breaking loose. So I'm going to have to work on that a little bit more. But the other reason for recording this, you see that wire sticking up? That is the infamous blue wire that broke out of its, or it goes in the wire harness. So at least it proved that is the issue. So now it's just I gotta get this thing disconnected so I can actually work on it with 2 hands. Alright, I've now forgotten where I've left off, but alright, so I saw here this tab you had to push. The thing is, you have to push on the top one, there's 2 on the sides, and 1 down below, on the other side of this one. So you push all 4 of those, this comes out, gives you a little bit of leeway. Obviously, I should be able to disconnect this. And right now I'm just not figuring it out, just not smart enough. I'm sure it'll become apparent to me here in a minute, but it'll be a lot easier to work on once I get that disconnected, because right now the door is just barely leaning up against the car, and you know, might be scratching my fender or whatnot, or the door may just fall at any point. So really need to get this taken care of. So I will be back. Alright, it was that easy. So that white bracket was oriented straight up, and there was a little clip, pushed down that, released it, and that let that break free. So now the door is not attached to anything, so I can properly secure it and work on getting that blue wire back in there and making sure I have connectivity. Alright, so a lot of time has passed since the last time I recorded, so I forget the last thing I said. See, I got that detached, so now the door's just leaning up against my car. Alright, so I shoved the wire back in the hole where it's supposed to go, and got my voltmeter out, checked the connectivity, and you know, it seems to, you know, going from the prong here to the switch, it's got connectivity. So now the question is, how am I going to keep that wire in there? It's not something I really can probably do properly. I mean, in all honesty. So I think I'm just going to shove it in as far as I can, put some super glue in there, let it dry, and hope that it stays. That may not be the best fix, but that's the fix we're going with. Put a couple squirts of this Loctite super glue down along the wire. Figure it's a plastic casing. I guess it is rubber insulator. You know, the video I watched previously, the guy used a hot glue gun. I just didn't figure that glue was I don't know, as solid. Maybe this will prove to be too brittle, I'm not sure. But that is what I'm trying, so I'm going to give it, I don't know, 15-20 minutes to dry up, and then I'm going to put everything back together. After I glued it, I checked the connectivity again. It's still good, so as it sits as is, it should be good. So hopefully it doesn't move in the reassembly. So as I'm sitting here waiting for that super glue to dry, got the great idea that, you know, there's some things I can start to assemble before actually putting the door back on the hinges. Putting this plastic piece back in, also putting the leather seal back in these clips. And it also comes the realization that I didn't need to do either of those things if I was taking the door off the hinge. So that's hindsight. Hopefully learn from me. Don't do it, because putting these clips back in, pain in the ass. Putting this, I don't think it's sitting quite right. It's not a good seal. I'm definitely gonna get some water leakage in here. So we'll see. I'm gonna try a little bit harder on this, but it's not looking good right now. So got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more of these clips to put in. You know, as they get tighter and tighter, this is gonna be more of a headache. So wish I wouldn't have done that, but again, it's hindsight. Now I know. So hopefully you learn from that and don't pull these off like I did. So this is obviously the part of the video where I realized all my mistakes. So as I was assembling, putting stuff back together, as I mentioned before, didn't really need to take the weather trim off or the plastic piece. The weather trim, it's held together by those pink clips. It seems like it's easier to have those clips out, put them in the weather strip, and then push them in the hole. But when I try to pull them out, I'm just destroying them. So for, I think, $10, I got a pack of 20 from Amazon. So I'm just gonna put it together right now, kind of leave it hanging, and then when it comes in a couple days, I'll put it together properly. Another thing, when I was counting the number of clips on the door, I missed one. there's one in this hole because the clip stayed in there. So I tried pulling it out with pliers, which was a terrible idea because I just broke it all to crap. What I should have done was use this tool, because that's how I did pull it out. So I'll probably order a new one of these and eventually take the door panel off and put it back together correctly. Talking about the door panel, because since I took the door off the hinges, there was absolutely no reason for me to take off that panel. I realized in hindsight, and probably everyone watching this video had already realized that, but I just want to recognize that was a lot of work that didn't really need to be done since I was just taking the door off the hinge. But again, lessons learned. So hopefully if one person watches this video and if it saves a little bit of time, a little bit of headache, it'd be worth it. Well, as you can see from my shadow, the sun is getting low, so good thing I'm finishing up this project. Door is back on. The wire harness, which I could be calling that the wrong piece, maybe it's not called a harness, I don't know. That piece is back in, probably not sealed as good as it was. Door seems to shut just fine. But the most important part, I got working windows again, so I'm happy about that. So at this point, just have to put the door panel back on, put on those 2 bolts and 3 screws, and I am done for the evening. I got about a half hour of sunlight left, maybe 45 minutes, so it shouldn't be a problem to finish that in time. Of course, I've said that before, so hey, thanks for watching again. I hope this helps somebody.